Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pawns and Patrons.
Woo!
Such a good recap.
Yeah.
I always am like,
such a good recap.
It's so good. It's like better than in my head when I hear it. It's like, man, this is a fun story.
Also, we did so much last time.
Right?
Yeah.
The squeeze.
That's terrifying. And Henley, of course, is just like dying.
And I still have no idea what the context is or anything about the white tadpole. Like, I'm still just, whenever that comes up, I'm like, even with the recap.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pawns and Patrons. This, I think, is episode number 8, which is awesome.
That's hilarious because I put episode 5 in my description.
You know, 8, 5, 15.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that it's episode 8 because last time I had episode 7 prep and notes up here. Yeah.
I thought 5 sounded like too few. So
Yeah.
It's
8
a good
sounds
number.
more like
didn't you
it.
put 5 in the chat earlier? Someone was like, what episode number is this? And I swear, nope, it says 8. I just read 5.
It's because
You know
it's
what? I have
because
that problem.
Jen asked, "Are we starting the call? Should be 5 minutes, right?" And I said, "Should be 5."
Yeah. And suddenly I was tripping about hours. I'm like, is this show usually at 1? But maybe it's at 1:30.
I do have to check multiple times because it's Saturday morning. Each time we start this show, I'm like, this is at 10, right? I don't have to get up earlier and I don't have time to sleep more, right? Okay.
Hey, we've already solved a mystery today, guys. We're on a roll.
Yeah.
How was your guys' week before we get started?
Good.
Or month? How was your month?
How was your month?
How's your 2021 going?
It's
I
a
have
quarter over.
I have something crazy to show you guys. So I'm a crazy plant lady now, as one
Nice.
becomes in quarantine when one is a 30-something, right?
Yeah.
So I bought this plant. This is my new favorite. It's called a shrimp plant because literally
I see the shrimp,
it makes little shrimps out of leaves and flowers. Like, this is the little flower, that's the little tail, and the leaves just are in this little gradient. Isn't that the wildest little flower you've ever
awesome.
seen? That
That's
actually
amazing.
exists.
So hungry.
It's the shrimp.
That's super cute.
Yeah, and I have a purple, you can barely see the trailing vines right there, a purple plant up there.
Mhm.
So it's all about plant life these days
Mhm.
in the Prosser household. What about you guys?
I built a little extension to our deck so our plants could sit off
Oh.
of the railing and sit in the sunlight. But
Nice.
it's still freezing and snowing, so I just wait.
That's
Planning ahead, though.
plant
Nice.
parent goals.
Colorado, cold place. It's
Mhm.
like we had-
Colorado. Thank you guys. I love you.
We had like a week of like 2022 weather. So for Americans, that's like 70 degrees, I think. That's 70 to 75. 22 and sunny.
Mhm.
So it was gorgeous. And we actually went outside and it was like, it's astonishing how much weather affects my mood these days.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Mhm.
crap. Now, since we've been indoors for a year and change now, like when it is nice outside, I'm just like, the world is a good place. Everything's gonna be okay. Let's
Yeah.
go outside.
Yeah, I get it.
And now it's back to like 10 degrees, so like 45, 50 and rainy, and it's just like
False hope.
You had a taste.
The world is crumbling.
the world is a cold and cruel place.
Yeah. We had the same thing. It was like 79 out. We were hiking. It was beautiful. We were talking about going to the river with our friends and making plans. And, now it's like highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s.
I feel like I'm really starting to forget what normal quote unquote life is like. Like you said, going to the river, and I was like, oh yeah, you can go to the river. That's like a thing you can do.
Mhm.
And
With
nobody will
people.
stop you.
Yeah.
There's some crazy things one can do. Now everything feels like a trip or an expedition. Like, especially during the winter when it was cold, I have a colleague that lives nearby, so we could take walks. And like, we planned it 1 week ahead, and then the day of we're like, oh man,
Yeah.
it's like that's gonna be a lot today.
Yep.
Well, first it's gonna be cold, and we're gonna go out of our houses and walk, and then like when we managed to do it, like man, I'm like that was a huge day. I'm so tired.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day gets
Huge
one event.
accomplishment.
I cut
I
my
agree.
boyfriend's
Oh,
hair
yeah.
yesterday, and then I was like, we need to take a nap. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. When I have more than one thing planned in a day, I now get stressed. I'm like, I have to wash my hair and like I don't know, clean the yard.
Wear real
That's
clothes.
too much. Yeah.
I saw a great TikTok yesterday that was someone talking to themselves that was like, I can't do anything today. And they were like, why can't you do anything? Well, I have a thing planned at 3 p.m. Well, why can't you do something before 3 p.m.? I can't do anything because I have a thing at 3 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Get it.
agree.
Yep, that's it.
I have a
Big
thing
mood.
at 4 p.m. today.
Yeah,
Very
I
I
exciting.
do
do.
the thing before that. You're amazing. You're an overachiever.
Yeah, same. I feel super overwhelmed. I have like 3 things I hope to do today. This, which I'm doing, so that's comforting.
Check.
Take a walk. That's really challenging. And then wash my hair.
No, that's too much.
There's a lot. I was like, maybe I'll wash my hair tomorrow, like I'm not sure I'll make it.
We'll see.
you don't want to do anything, but I assure you the conversation at the end of the episode, as it always is going to be like, I'm so glad we did something. Holy crap,
Yeah.
that felt so good to accomplish something and talk to humans. Like 4 hours from now, we're going to be psyched as hell, guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, I had one thing. I had my birthday this week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, happy birthday, Jen. Hooray!
Birthday.
Yay!
And
I'm
I
exhausted.
received some furniture, which is still in the box, and it's assembled underneath. So that's the tragedy. It's literally just
So
open
you
the
can just
box.
pull the top off the box and then have the furniture.
Somehow I'm like, oh man,
That's a step for another day.
like an activity for a whole day. This cannot fit in my day. This is too much.
Speaking of birthdays, someone said something to me that tripped me out, which was, being born in the 1900s. And I was like,
Bro,
don't say
do
it that way.
that.
But then I was
I didn't
thinking
need that this morning, Anna.
Oh, what the hell? I don't know. I
but
was born in the 1900s.
I know. But then I was like, if we've spanned 2 centuries, we should have a cool name for that. Like millennials is one thing, but we've lived in 2 different centuries. So that was like, are we bicentennial? But that just means the 200th birthday of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So could we be like
Bicenturrians.
Bicenturian? Yes,
think
that's
we're
what I
bisexual.
meant.
It worked out
Bisexual.
because our whole generation's bisexual anyway, so we
Yeah.
got that.
Mhm.
Bisextennial.
I'll take it. Yeah.
We did it, guys.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Let me know in the chat what we should call ourselves.
I like that. I agree. We need a cool
Bicenturian.
name to make up for the fact that some people will be able to say we were born in the 1900s.
I know.
Oh,
It's like,
so we get to
wow.
be
Gross.
grandparents.
But like, isn't it wild that some people are like, I was born in the 2000s? Like,
Dude,
Yeah, yeah.
get
that's
this.
messed up.
Get
It's
this.
like you must be 2 years old.
Get
Yeah.
this. Everyone who was born in the year 2000 is now 21. Adults
I
were born in the
refuse.
2000s.
I refuse this statement.
Yep.
Nobody in my life is alive.
I saw someone tweet the other week that was like, "What do you mean burn a CD?" And I was just like, "It's actually trolling." The person was trolling, but no, no, they weren't trolling.
Oh my God.
Hearts.
It was I who was trolled.
Oh god. Oh god. Like I used to use cassette tapes. Like that was a thing.
Yeah, recording songs off the radio. Did you?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah, I did
making
that.
a true mixtape, nothing will ever come.
Every
Nothing will
song-
ever replace that.
Starts 15 seconds in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have like the DJ talking over the beginning of songs, but it's okay.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, calling into the radio.
Oh,
You knew all your friends were also listening to the radio station that night, so you'd call in. You'd be like, I just want to say we're going to do awesome in gym class tomorrow. What up?
Yeah.
The ICS class, whatever. And like they would.
Oh, I never called the radio. No.
Oh, I
Hey guys,
did all
before
the
there was
time.
I
Twitch, I
missed
had to
that
shout at
experience.
somebody.
My sister would
You
do
guys
that
never
all the
called
time.
the radio?
That's
I called it.
That's
amazing. Holy shit.
wild.
How
I
did you request all your obscure songs off the Pokemon the First movie CD that they definitely didn't have access to, but you wanted them to know existed? Like,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love you so much. That's awesome.
What gets me is that there
Wait,
are.
did you actually do that though? Did you request?
yeah,
Nice.
Ashley Ballard and So Plush. It was you. I asked for it all the time. They don't got it.
I listened to oldies as a kid, so I was calling into Kissin' FM and requesting
Yep.
songs made in the 60s and 70s.
All right, wait, hang on. This one's gonna hurt.
No, don't do it.
No.
Okay,
If
do it.
dude.
if you were a child in the 90s, like
Yeah.
we were,
Yeah.
and you're thinking about the 60s,
Oh no, I know
that's
what you're
how
gonna do.
people who are kids now think about the 90s.
Ah.
Why, Steven? What did we do to you? Like,
I came here for a lighthearted roleplay romp. Now I'm gonna call my therapist.
I read that the other day and I was like, no.
What I am
No.
okay with though is that means it's been long enough that the 90s like fashion and aesthetic,
True.
like the best parts of it, are in fashion again. And
they
that
are.
I am all about. Like
And they
90s
absolutely
fashion. Some of
Oh,
it.
wait.
The best
What did I
parts of
got?
it. Some of it not.
I got my screen.
Somebody at work gave me that so that
What is
I can physically emote. Heart.
Is that all it is? It's just a plastic heart for you to emote with?
Yeah, he 3D printed it. And then I was like, how am I unhappy? And this is gonna be obscene, but I can't use that at work, but I thought of it immediately.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is a good day, guys.
Hans and Patrons Day is always a good day.
Yes.
I know, I agree.
Wow. Astennial in my chat said, did the 90s have fashion? Burned.
oh,
Burned.
Rule.
Hmm.
How dare you?
All right. What are some of the best goods? What are some of the best good musics from the 90s?
No doubt.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yep.
Gwen Stefani was our queen of fashion and music.
It's true.
Boy bands, NSYNC,
Boy bands are
Backstreet
huge.
Yep.
Boys.
Backstreet Boys.
Don't make that
Britney.
face, Neal.
Was Ace of Base 90s or late 80s?
I think it was
Thanks.
late 80s, early 90s. But grunge was also in full swing, like
Yeah.
Garbage.
A lot of plaid.
Yeah. Oh
Yep.
man, especially in the Pacific Northwest. A white t-shirt, jeans, and a plaid flannel tied around your waist.
mm-hmm.
All these kids were like thinking they were cool a couple years ago wearing flannels tied around their waist. And I was like,
No, please. Smashing Pumpkins.
oh
Green
yeah.
Day?
Yup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Love Green Day.
Mm-hmm.
Someone says Goo Goo Dolls in my chat.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Goo Goo Dolls. Very good. Nirvana. Linkin Park.
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm. Mhm.
Both.
You guys are doing it.
Blind Melon.
Remember hit clips from Burger King where if you wanted to listen to an MP3 of a song, you could listen to exactly like 45 seconds of it?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Hid
I thought it
clips
was so
from
cool.
Burger King.
They were like toys that you would get in your Burger King meal. This was like after their Pokemon promotion. And like they were like an earbud, like a single earbud, a wire, and then like a little box with like Millennium from the Backstreet Boys on it. And you would put it in your ear and you would hit play and it would play like 45 seconds of like Millennium. And you'd be like, sweet, I'm good. Let's roll.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I specifically remember when I got an MP3 player for the first time and someone was like, you can put the equivalent of 2 CDs on this tiny thing. And I was like, 2 whole CDs on that? And then I got a 1 gigabyte MP3 player. And compared to all my friends, I was rich because I could put 13 CDs on my MP3 player.
And if you're riding your bike or running, it's not going to skip.
I know. Amazing. Yeah. Crazy.
And you don't have to carry batteries in your backpack, like all the batteries, like the little ones that you would push on to see how much battery was left in it.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Mhm, mhm.
Mine was battery operated though. And that was
Oh,
it was a good thing because I actually took it to Spain with me, and I just had like a box of batteries, and it was so small. It was like a battery sleeve basically, and so you would just like pop one in. I don't know, not very sustainable, but
Good to go.
it helped
2
with
whole CDs.
yeah.
Amazing.
Now, what gets me is that there are people now who have spent their whole junior high and high school experiences watching our Twitch streams like we would have watched, Xena
Oh,
or Hercules in the 90s.
That's true.
That's
I'll
the-
never be as
Well,
entertaining as Xena was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, kids.
I need to go back and watch Xena. I never did. I always wanted to.
Oh my God.
We've
Oh.
been watching it on Fridays on my channel. It's amazing. Love it.
How does
is
it
it
hold
on
up?
Prime? Are you able to like?
It's on Pirate Bay.
I don't work for Twitch anymore.
La, 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 la.
There's places you can find it. It's amazing. It still holds up. 100%.
Incredible.
Oh, multi-disc changers. Someone just mentioned like the stereo where you have 5 different CDs in it, and it'll shuffle, so it'll play one, and then it'll be like
Yes. The sound effects.
for like 30 seconds, and then it'll play your next song because it shuffled it for you.
Mm-mm.
Those are amazing. I remember I feel like either my parents got a car with a multi-CD changer in it, or someone else in the carpool that brought us all to school had a car with a multi-CD changer, and it was just like the fanciest thing in the
Oh
world.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they
Yep.
still have some of your CDs to this day, I'm sure. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dude,
There's a car out there with Steven's old Dream Theater CDs still stuck inside of it.
man, I didn't know this was going to be the 90s nostalgia hour, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, we might need to do like a podcast separately for this kind of.
Dude.
It's
Yeah.
good and comforting.
It's just
for
nostalgia, the
pandemic.
podcast.
Mhm.
Where all you do is talk about the past. Yeah.
We just need
Yeah,
to like.
oh wow, we really
cycle
are
in-
old people now.
Cycle in younger and younger people as the podcast ages, so that we keep the
God.
nostalgia rolling.
That's true. We'll need newcomers for the nostalgia.
Yep.
I don't often talk about this stuff too because I'm like working in entertainment. I'm so afraid of people finding out my age because it genuinely does affect which jobs you can get.
Man.
So I never talk about this stuff because I'm like, I don't know, I was nebulously born like not that long ago or something. I don't know.
Recently, one might even
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
I'm
like,
20 or
very-
30 and probably.
Yeah, I'm a baby or something. I don't know.
Are we playing?
Yeah, let's play make believe.
Take me away from here.
All right, friends. So, where exactly did we leave off last time? What do y'all remember? Neverst, the like, what is he? Let me go to my fancy new setup and read what he is. The overseer of Hall Duday welcomed you, and he caught you trying to break into the chapel, right? And
Yes.
he was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, what do you think you're doing? What get out of here, kids, you punks. You were probably born in like the year 2000 or something. Maybe 2000.
That was my uncle, yeah.
Yes, we were. You're right. We were.
Oh my god.
We're
yeah.
young. We don't know what cassettes are.
you never mixed a tape at all.
Never.
He's backed up by a huge hulking bruiser of a frog who he introduces eventually as Rebruis. And did he brought you into House Duday, right? Y'all,
Yeah.
Strej revealed that Strej wasn't, in fact, he was.
I know.
House Duday. Y'all had made some plan, like you were going to pretend that you had been chasing Strej through the swamps because you had hastily written a note that said Strej Duday and stuck it to the back of the noble that you met in the swamps
Yeah.
That happened.
and sent him running off.
That was the plan because Strej is being chased by some law officials.
Yes.
So it sounds like a bad idea to be Strej right now. But at the same time, there's all this reward that life has been dangling in front of his face, saying, "If you're a Duday, you will get so many things."
It's true. That is what life has been saying.
Stretch kind of just slipped. I remember it was like not that voluntary. I kind of just said it.
Yeah.
I
Just blurted it out.
For people who maybe haven't watched tons of times because we've said that we're drop-in friendly, just want to explain the Duday legacy. So it is a prominent family of frog people. Their last name is spelled like dude, but it is pronounced Duday.
Yes.
They are kind of slightly French sometimes, I guess. And we are now traveling with our third Duday? Second Duday. Second Duday in our party. But all of these party members don't live very long. So the first member of the family, Froge Duday.
It seemed like the third Duday because Froge died twice.
That's right. That's why we had twice the experience of losing Froge. But so we're traveling with a member of the Duday family who has found out that they have noble lineage that they might want to claim.
Yes. So to set the scene, you're here. Let me just close that and that. Hopefully I've unified all of my prep into one place. And now all I have to do is look at this Miro board that I built. Naverst brings you into the great and noble house of Duday. Now I remember like we saw this thing. It looks like an old southern plantation, but like out in the middle of a swamp. It's got like that sort of like Grecian front porch with the columns, and then like, you know, it's like an evenly sort of symmetrical house with like 2 windows on one side and 2 windows on side, obviously 2 stories. The weird thing about it is that it's sort of like at a 30-degree angle, and as you face it, it's the right hand side of the house, the east wing, that has sunken into the swamp, and the whole thing is just sort of cantered. So Naverst and Rebruis escort you into the entrance hall of Hall Duday, which again, like the entire house, lists slanted to the east. It's the floor is covered with an ancient threadbare carpet that's like even more worn in the center, where obviously high traffic, you know, flowed through. There's a mahogany table in the center of this room with a floral arrangement sticking up out of a vase. Straight in front of you, there's a grand double staircase, and at the top, there's this glowering portrait looking down, this Rembrandt-style portrait of an old jowly frog.
Oh, Papa, is that you?
Do you say that, Stretch?
Yeah.
Awesome.
With like a little sparkle in his eye.
Yeah, you know, those of you who are accompanying Strej, so just really quickly, I'm going to run down the list of our player characters here. We've got, in accompaniment with Strej, we've got Lurgwy and Beskery, and then there's Kate D and Sky. There's Evelyn, Agnes, and Fiona, and then Scribbles, Henley, and Babs. We're also accompanied by a number of animal companions, including Anna and Rachel, the dogs, Chattanooga, the mule, and D'Artagnan, the horse, who is poking his head into the house. Rebruis quickly like moves behind you and goes, The horse just blows air in his face. And also there's a tiny itty bitty Agnes walking around and occasionally riding on Agnes's shoulder. This aged woman is probably 60 years older than Agnes herself, and has like short cropped steel gray hair, and an awful lot of spunk. If I remember.
Senga, no? Her name is Senga.
Senga. That's so good. So, the deal was that Naverst claimed that he had a test to see if you truly were a member of the clan of Duday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, first he says, friends, companions, listen, it's going to take a few days to gather what's necessary for the test of today. Until then, you are my and Reb Ruiz's honored guests. Please allow me to show you to your chambers. And then he beckons you up the stairs. Come this way. But no, wait. Put the horse out. Someone grab him. Grab that horse. He's gotta stay out. He's gonna poop in the carpet. Take him outside.
I'll take the horse outside.
Okay. Which eye is speaking?
Sky.
Cool. Yeah.
The dogs
you-
get to stay inside though, right? Wait, the dogs
Yes.
aren't here because didn't they stay with Fran?
Somehow they're here on the board.
Oh, well, I guess they tagged along.
Yeah, they didn't fight or anything.
I think that we've had this conversation in the past.
Yes, you're right. We
The
did.
ambiguously present dogs.
Yeah, you know what? The dogs are attached to the adventure now. So,
They're not friends, they're Schrodinger's.
yes.
There we go.
Yes.
So, he escorts the, how many, 12 of you upstairs? And as he goes, he explains, he says, on the assumption that you really are a prodigal lost son of Duday, and he stops by the portrait, and you can see at the bottom of the portrait, there are words written. There's a label at the bottom of this portrait that proclaims, "May the great Sterum Duday rest in peace." Looking very closely, like there is a certain family resemblance in like the set of the eyes and the shape of the pupils, but you wouldn't see it if you weren't looking for it. You're finding evidence, right?
But I'm also conveniently placing myself like in the pose of the
Yeah.
painting, so
Yeah.
it feels more similar now that you're talking about it, because I'm like,
Yeah, awesome. He says, on the assumption that you really are one of the prodigal sons of the House of Duday, and now that I think of it, I believe the good lady of the swamp has been distributing the family stipend. I'll have to look into that. You've been getting the money, right?
no, I have not. Where has it gone? Is it distributed to the city?
His eyebrow ridge raises. You have not been receiving the stipend of the House of Duday?
No.
He puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, my son, somebody has been stealing from your noble. And Reb Ruiz, who now marches up the stairs slowly behind.
Bills, this is unacceptable.
he just growls. Yeah. Sterum looks at you. He says, "By Bobug it is. By Bobug it is." And he says, "You lot, follow me." And he leads you up to the top of the stairs. Let's see. There's 3 exits up here. There's an exit to the east, like a hallway that goes back to the east, which is to the right of your current approach. There's a hallway that goes back to the west, which is the direction that Sterum now leads you. And he leads you past a large double door that leads to the north. So like at the top of the stairs, there's a big double door leading forwards. It's closed at the moment. He leads you to the eastern hallway and down a ways to a set of simple guest rooms. There are 2 doors that lead to, it sort of like goes forwards and hits a door, and also the hallway turns right and then ends at a door down on the right-hand side. He turns to 11 of you and he says, "We don't have many rooms. The one at the end of the hallway is reserved for the late lady's accoutrement, and I cannot offer it to you. But the rest of you may make your bed in here." And he opens the door to the room, which is like a large, spacious chamber. It's significantly larger than you would ever be offered at an inn, for example. There's a bed that's large enough and comfortable enough that it'll suit 3 people in a pinch. Maybe 4 if you wanted to get really cozy. But there's like tons of floor space, and he says, I'll go raid the linen closet. I'll bring you some coverings so you can all sleep in peace. And then he turns to Strej and he says to you, young master, come with me.
Strej is like trying to play into it. He's like starting to walk taller. He puts on his like fancy silken hat.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I shall.
He leads you back down, like across the landing of the double stairs, and then over down through the other hallway, which just dead ends at a large door, like a dark oak door. He turns the knob and pushes it in, and inside is a luxurious master bedroom. It's a fine chambers with a bed, dressing table, fireplace. It's all very dusty. It obviously hasn't been used in a very long time, but like the bed looks luxurious and soft. There's like a velvet cushioned chair in front of the dressing table. There's a wardrobe in the corner. And there's a single sliding door on the far end of the room. And he gestures in that direction and he says, the young master may wish to use the privy if he desires. The rest will have to use the outhouse.
Well, thank you, kind sir. It is very appreciated.
He says, now, young master, I would love to prepare a feast for you and your friends. If this is acceptable to you, then tomorrow I will venture into town, into Blabuton, and acquire some help. You know, servants and cooks and the like.
Have you heard that... Wait, I need to read my note. Wasn't there people that didn't like the Dudays that we met last episode? I feel like the people from the town were like a little bit shady about the Dudays. But maybe I don't remember properly.
I recall that as well.
I think there was some ambiguous friendliness towards the Dudays. They generally knew about Naverst living out here in the swamp, but like didn't seem super enthusiastic about him.
Yeah. I feel like I want to convey that to him. It's like, do you know if the townspeople have a problem with Dudays? Because it felt a little off. It is why I have hidden my identity, because I was worried that they would want to remove my lineage.
He puts a hand on your shoulder. So this man, let me just describe what he looks like again. He's an old man. He looks very servile. He's got white skin and filmy eyes. He's wart-ridden, just like covered in warts. He's wearing a powdered wig and has fancy servant dress on. And he puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, my son, the people and the land.
Papa.
I'm not your pop. The people and the lands, they cannot survive correctly without the guidance of their nobles. No wonder they have begun to look on their leaders with questions and anger in their hearts at the abandonment they have suffered from the loss of your mother and father, or whoever, whatever relation they might have been to you. But when they gain back the nobles that take care of them and help them live the best lives of humbleness and servitude, then they will grow to love the name of Duday once again. Your lineage, and he like taps your chest with one froggy paw. Your lineage is important, my son. It matters to the people of this swamp. He like wipes one tear away.
Aw.
I also wipe one tear away.
He says, very well. If all is well, then I will go right now. I will venture to the village and procure the chefs and assistants that I need to prepare this glorious feast for you. And then we will take the prick from one finger of yours, and with the blood in your veins, we will smear it on the altar in the chapel and see if you truly are of the house of Duday.
shouldn't we wait until we prove that I'm a Dudet to celebrate the fact that I'm a Dudet with a feast?
Oh, but the feast will take many days to prepare. We will need to hunt, we'll need to clean the fish or the game that we get, we'll need to cook for a few days. The preparations must begin now.
Okay. Do I have any reason to be suspicious? Do I feel like something's off?
I mean, so like, there's no skill in Dungeon Crawl Classics to tell you. So like, you know, he seems pretty excited to have met you and pretty comfortable welcoming 12 random people into his home under the suspicion that one of you is actually a Dudet. But then like, in the background of this scene, there's this like huge hulking muscular frog who's just like silently watching everything. So like maybe he just feels comfortable, not terribly concerned. So yeah, I think that's all you've got.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I dig the life of luxury.
He nods, he
right.
says, please, make use of the amenities as you wish. I will leave Rebruis to you to take care of whatever needs and see to the grounds while I am gone for today. And then when I return with my companions, we will sleep. And on the morrow, we will begin preparations for the feast.
Okay.
So you said we can make ourselves welcome to anything in the house? Agnes asks.
Yes, of course.
Great, do you have medicine?
Just like drag up Henley.
Henley's like,
He says, my God, what is wrong with this man's?
He has been leeched and unleashed.
Oh, you encountered the leeches. That's terrible. He looks terrible.
they look terrible.
They look terrible. Their skin, is it supposed to be all pale and clammy like that? I can never tell with the humans.
Henley's kind of bent over, like if Agnes has them by the shoulder or something, they're kind of like hanging from it, like.
Okay, yeah. He says, no, we don't keep treatment for such a disease here in the home, but I can ask at the town and see if there's anyone there who can treat leech sickness.
Scribbles comes up and is like, a disease. This is a specific leech sickness is a specific disease? Can you tell me more?
Oh yes,
Right
leech
now.
sickness, sometimes called the leech fever. It gets into the blood when the leeches of the swamp latch onto you. Causes high fever on day 1, delirium and hallucination on day 2, and immediate death on day 3.
Oh, that's not very many
in,
days.
In most cases, not all, most, but not all.
Well, Henley is not necessarily a healthy specimen to begin with, so.
Mr. Frogman? Caretaker of the frog place?
Caretaker of the frog.
What's behind those big double doors that we passed back in the hallway?
He says, "Oh, well, listen,
Can I go
your
see?
friend here looks very ill. I should be going so that I can get everything ready, but Rebruis can take you on a tour of the house. How does that sound?"
Yeah.
Rebruis looks at you and goes,
Yeah. What's behind the big doors?
He says, "Very well. Oh, young master." He bows in Stretch's direction.
Somehow when he bows, I also do a bow.
Yeah. You bow, and then he like grabs your hand and like lifts you back up straight, and then looks at you, and then he bows again.
And then I really feel like bowing again, but I step myself.
Young master, while I am gone today, if you and your companions would consent, I would encourage the 9, 12, 18 of you to venture into the forests and swamps and see if you can hunt some game for our feast.
Okay, yes, of course, we will.
See if you can look for a particularly fat catfish, or perhaps
one of the famed moss elk of the swamp.
We will look for game and food. Yes.
I want a moss elk. I want one to ride.
That's what, young master, I encourage you to discuss with your friends what will happen to the moss elk once we capture it. Because riding is not in the cards for this particular animal.
Okay.
We're going to eat it.
Babs under her breath says, I'm gonna ride it.
I just don't want the friends to be disappointed. Very well.
Before you leave, sir, Fiona says
downstairs, and then yes.
Oh wait.
Yes. What?
Fiona would like to know where the flowers are.
What flowers? These ones in the vase.
Sure, we wanted to get more of those. We were hoping there were more, flour available. And Fiona's compatriots are like, yeah, Fiona, chill. But Fiona remembers that there was a talk about getting a certain fresh, bright flower that was available over the house here. I don't know if this guy knows where they are.
Yeah, he says, the bright flower.
Yeah, that one.
I recommend that you try to avoid it as much as possible. The great white tadpole is sometimes found patrolling in its vicinities.
Yeah, the great white tadpole. We don't like that guy, right? That's not a good tadpole.
The great white tadpole is a fickle tadpole. Blessed be his name.
Scribbles asks, Scribbles is just hovering, writing down everything they say about the great white tadpole, but there's lots of question marks in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
What does the great white tadpole have to do with the House of Duday? Aren't you guys froggy friends or something?
Oh, no. The great white tadpole is something of a mascot, or maybe a minor local deity, offering its protection to the village of Blabouton. The great House of Duday has much more noble deities.
Got it.
And who are those deities? Bugaboo Bills and anyone else?
His eyebrow spots raise. He says, no. What else would we need? Anyway, I'm gone. Have a nice day. Good luck with the moss elk. Maybe you can ride it. Maybe we'll eat it after.
Bab says, I'm gonna ride it.
Fantastic. He sweeps out the door, and Rebruis behind you says, the east wing is sunken. We don't go there. Neither will you.
Is that the area behind the big doors?
He shakes his head silently, and then he just points slowly to the eastern door here down. You're in the entrance hall again. He just points, and then he steps closer to the door, and then he looks at you. Who was that? Sky?
No, it was Jimmy, little Jimmy.
Jimmy. He looks at Jimmy, and then he points at the door.
Do you want me to go in? Jimmy runs to the door.
Yeah.
And looks back at the hulking character before turning the knob or the handle or the latch.
Yeah. It turns easily, and then the door swings open easily. As soon as you open the door, you can see why nobody goes there. It's because the entire east end of that hall is sunken down into the water. There's chairs and tables and furniture rising half out of the water like tombstones. At the close end of the room, there's a billiards table and a roulette table that have been pulled to the dry high ground on the closer end of the hall, but both of them are obviously water damaged. So it's obvious that this entire end of the house is just sunk into the swamp.
Scribbles is at what rate is the house sinking, and at what point will it be completely consumed by the swamp?
Rebruis turns to Scribbles and shrugs his shoulders, his massive, beefy shoulders. Stopped.
Interesting.
It stopped. Oh, thank Bobug. I was thinking this house didn't have much longer to go on. That is comforting.
He turns to you, Strej, and he says, "The house of today is eternal."
As it should be, my friend.
And then he turns and he just says, "Come." First, he marches back up the stairs to the grand double doors at the top of the stair. And is it Jimmy who's the most interested here? Yeah.
Stretch is pretty hyped too. He's right behind Jimmy.
He turns to you and he says, "Dance."
What?
And then he opens the doors and it's a huge ballroom.
Woo!
For the balls!
It's just literally like a huge, it's probably like 200 feet long by like 100 feet wide, something like that. Like fine parquetry floors. There's a chandelier on the ceiling. It's not lit, so it's all like, there's like some grand tall windows at the back of the house that are letting some light in from outside. So everything's sort of like shadowed and like cobwebby and old, but very clearly like was at one point and could again be a grand entertaining hall. The side walls to the left and the right are draped with a blue-green velvet cloth, just like all along the walls. And at the far end, sort of between the two windows, there's like a little raised area of like a stage where a band would sit and play. Next to the stage, there's a door. And then he says, "What next?"
Little Jimmy bolts into the ballroom and starts running around, touching everything, licking some things, and looking under every surface.
Babs looks at Strej. Strej is with us, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And is like, maybe you could be rich enough to be our patron.
My eyes kind of flicker. Oh.
Isn't that like treason to talk like that? Says Sky.
Well, nobody would. I mean, you wouldn't tell, would you?
I mean, I'll do whatever the group wants to do. I kind of go with the flow, but like,
This
we
is
could get in
Sky,
trouble.
right?
This is Sky. Yeah. We could like get in trouble for that.
Babs like is always a little bit drunk, you know, so not masking at all that she has now marked Sky with her eyes and is like,
I'm just, talking about society, about the man who keeps holding us down.
You just hear Fiona like, "Yeah!" in the background.
Meanwhile, while this conversation is happening, little Jimmy is running around and touching, licking, looking under everything. Little Jimmy, the curtains on the sides of the hall, like you lift them up and there's just like bare wall behind them. They were clearly sort of like strung up in order to create a more acoustic and more like aesthetic room.
Well, all the curtains? I have to check every curtain now because there could be a hidden door behind one of these curtains. We got to check them all twice and then knock them.
Lifting them, you run past the stage, you like touch the edge of the stage, lick the edge of the stage, run down the other side. And as you're running down the other side, you feel a huge meaty paw grab one of your arms and say, "Tour continues." And then just like Red Ruiz just starts walking.
Let's go. Let's continue the tour.
But I didn't check under the stage yet.
You can do that later. Let's keep going.
But the stage.
Apparently, little Jimmy is not in the group, by the way. My chat just told me.
That might remotely be true now that I see my list of characters.
Little Jimmy isn't in the group.
It's a spirit. It's all good.
Wait, we've got D, Sky, and Kate.
Kate was interested, but she didn't lick anything. She's not that.
Kate looked enthusiastically without licking.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I love how like some characters just show up.
It felt right.
Rolla blesses, that's you. Are you there to heal us?
He leads you back downstairs
Yeah.
into the entrance hall. He points to the right, which is the western wing, and he says, "Parlor." And then he points back to the stairs and he says, "Kitchens." And you can see that there are actually like two doors, like to the side and beneath the stairs. And then he says, "Come." And he leads you in the direction of the kitchens.
No problem, Fiona says.
So
Yeah.
first, he leads you out of the entrance hall, sort of underneath the stairs, through a short hallway into a long dining room with a long oaken table taking up the center of the room with 12 chairs seated around it. There's a fine sideboard off to one side with crystal goblets, plates, and silverware sort of like stacked on top of it. It's also a cupboard, so there's clearly some sort of inside. And there's another swinging door to the north that Red Ruiz just continues walking towards and then shoves open. It swings open, revealing a kitchen, and then it swings back closed and catches it with one meaty paw, thunk. And then he pushes it open, enters, and then holds it open for the rest of you as you come on in. There's a kitchen back here. It's furnished to be able to prepare for a crowd, but there's currently only one active stovetop bubbling a small pot of something that smells very umami. And there's like various simple foodstuffs around. There's like sacks of flour and like tubers laid out on a table or something. There's like a chicken hung up by its legs or something like that. Whatever. So you just came through that swinging door behind you, and to the north there is a doorway, and he points in that direction, and he says, "My room."
Is that an invitation, big boy? Fiona says.
He turns to you and says, "Human."
She pats him on the chest and she goes, thanks anyway. And then she goes to take the chicken, and Fiona would actually like to start preparing the chicken into chicken soup for our dear beloved chicken butcher, Henley.
Amazing. Yeah, he like cocks ahead at you and then sees that you know what you're doing with like the knives and stuff. He just sort of like nods once. He turns to the rest of you and he says, "Hunt."
Woohoo! I think that's when Lurjui, like as soon as he says hunt, kind of like he takes out all of his fancy equipment that he bought before this adventure. Wait, is he? No, it's a woman. She bought before the adventure. It's like, yes, never being used. Cannot wait to put it to test.
Awesome. Yeah, he leads the other 11 of you, except for Fiona, who is preparing the chicken
She'll stay
soup.
cooking.
Yeah, he leads the other 11 of you sort of to the entrance hall, to the front doors of the Hall du Rey. And he gestures into the swamp and says, "Catfish good, Moscow better."
I'm gonna write it.
Okay, so catfish and musk deer?
Close.
Close enough.
Moss elk.
Okay.
Well, Agnes has always hung back, and Evie is a coward, so they'll just be sitting at the back of the group, kind of following your lead. Everyone else.
Before leaving, Stretch is really curious, so Stretch is gonna investigate the Dudet room.
Yeah.
And I want to look in the closet. Like, Stretch is kind of daydreaming about having like a luxurious type of night. How do you call it? Like, the how do you call it?
The suit of armor?
No. Like nighttime, like cozy gown, not a gown, the thing you put
Like a
over
bathrobe or
yeah, with like a duvet insignia. That's kind of his daydream. He's not sure it's in there, but he's gonna go look.
So that's like what he's looking for in the wardrobe. Awesome.
But I mean, if there is armor, though, Stretch will also look out for that.
Stretch, roll a d20, and we are hoping to roll under your luck score.
I roll with the luck thing?
No, just /roll 1d20, and hopefully it will be less than 15. Actually, I think you can just click luck check. Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. There's a button on your character sheet that's called luck check at the bottom of that column, and if you click it, that's a roll under your luck. So you succeeded because I was just testing the sheet. Awesome. Yeah, you open the door to the wardrobe, and there's like 3 beautiful bathrobes in there of various like sumptuous cloths and different colors. So like what's your favorite color, Stretch?
Green.
Yeah, there's a beautiful like jade green silken bathrobe with DD embroidered on the breast of it in gold thread. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I like put my face against it. I'm like,
oh yeah, it's the nicest cloth you've ever felt.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to sleep here tonight. This is gonna be grand.
Fantastic.
All right, let's go hunt. I wish I could go hunt with this, but I bet it would soil it. Oh.
It is long enough that it would trail in the swamp and ruin the cloth. It's true. So who all is joining the hunting party?
All of, Henley is not doing very well.
Is Henley hanging back with Fiona?
Yeah, I guess that like Henley tries to get up and go with the party, but like everyone's like, no, what are you doing? Stop, go to bed. And Henley's they tuck Henley in and they're like under the blankets.
Does Henley get the bed for the guest room?
I feel like Henley looks so pitiful that everyone is just like, no, like giving them the nice things and trying to get them to calm down and stay put.
Henley is baby.
Yeah.
And 11 people are like, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. And everybody else going on the hunting adventure?
Mm-hmm.
All of my characters are going.
Okay.
Ruby and Agnes.
I'm gonna ask if there's like special frog armor available for the hunt.
Available for the hunt.
Yes.
Yeah. Reb Ruiz looks at you and he shakes his head.
No.
He says,
Okay.
Sunk.
Oh, so is it in the sunken part?
Don't go.
Okay, I won't go.
What's in the sunken part?
I don't mess with this guy.
Okay. Are you bringing D'Artagnan, Chattanooga, Rachel, and Anna with you on the hunt?
We should bring D'Artagnan, right? To carry things, maybe.
Yeah, I think
Shouldn't we
that
bring
makes
a
sense.
dog also for hunting? Isn't that the thing?
Yeah, the dogs have helped us hunt before, so I think the dogs should come. And although D'Artagnan is baby, to me, it makes sense to bring the horse hunting, I guess. Especially to carry, if we do get an elk, we can't carry it back.
Mm.
So.
Also, Senga likes to ride the horse.
True.
Okay. Senga on horseback with Agnes walking beside.
It's a standard.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Then the 10 of you set out into the swamp, leaving Henley and Fiona behind. Reb Ruiz waves from the porch. She watches you march off into the swamps of Swamp Today. And that's where we should take our first 5-minute break today. So don't go anywhere. In 5 minutes, we'll come back and we'll learn all about how to hunt in Swamps Today.
Huzzah!
Gonna kill an elk moss.